Happy Monday, everyone. Kristen Owens here, and I'm just going to wait for my friend Lisa to join me. And we are actually talking about the nervous system today. We had a conversation, Lisa and I had a conversation actually, I don't know, last week or a couple weeks ago, all on this topic. And I said, you know what? I think that we need to actually talk about this. So let me just bring her on. I see you, Lisa. Here she's coming. She's coming. There she is. Oh, I see you, but
You can see?
I
Oh,
see
flip it
this.
around.
Oh, there you
There we go.
are. Hello, hello. How's it going?
Hi. Good, really good. How
I'm
are you?
good. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear
Okay,
you fine.
perfect.
Can you hear me fine?
Yes, everything's good. Amazing.
Great.
How's it going today?
Today is an interesting day with the weather. It's so dark. So my nervous system, speaking of, my nervous system it doesn't know it's time to wake up yet. I've been sleepy all day and like really in a
Yes,
down kind of neutral, lethargic kind of space, which is nice. We need that.
yes.
So I'm welcoming it.
Yes, we sometimes, well, we need it often, most people, because they're so rushed and going from
That's
one
right.
thing to the other. But yeah, I was teaching a Pilates class this morning at 7, and by 8 o'clock or quarter to 8 when we were done, I said, "It's not normally this dark when we finish." And they said, "No." I said, "So dark." And then 9 o'clock, my class at 9, it was not dark like, I mean, right now it's pretty dark, but just really, yeah, just really. You know what I feel like doing, Lisa? I feel like going. I just did some stretching and Pilates type yoga type stuff in the family room, and I'm like, I feel like I could just sit in front of the Christmas tree with the fireplace on, although I don't have a fireplace, and I had my Christmas music on and just watch a Christmas movie. That's what I feel like I could do today.
Yep,
So,
that's what
although
it
that
is.
has not happened yet because I've been going since 7 this morning.
Right,
But
right.
but I mean, let's talk about going since 7 in the morning. So and I work with a lot of women that are, high achievers, they're professionals, they're going from one thing to the other, they're moms, they're businesswomen, they whatever, right? They've got a lot of things going on, as many of us do in this world. And they get caught up in a lot of the reason why I'm seeing them is because um, they need to, there's many things they need to do, but one of the big things that they need to do, and we all need to do, is look at how we can just ground ourselves and slow down and be more intentional about what we're doing. And so maybe let's just talk about that. Maybe just share, Lisa, where you come from, your background. We actually met, those of you listening by recording and live, we met actually at Healthy Planet, and so we connected quite easily there. And so, of course, we wanted to come and have conversations here because we realized that our worlds are very aligned and very similar, and our hearts and passions are for similar things. So tell us, Lisa, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a registered massage therapist, so an RMT in Toronto. And I've been doing that for almost a decade. And in the last half of the decade, I evolved my practice and I took a course so that I'm now a bioenergetics facilitator as well. I did also a laser therapy course, and so I've evolved my work in the last in the latter half of that decade, and so that's who I am, and what I do is a vocation. And then to speak to what you just shared about, and then what I actually do in the room with my clients is help them to, and I would say I have about half male, half female. It's not like I treat more females than I do males, but speaking to the women especially, that what I do in the room is I help women to let go of all that. Got to do this, got to do that, and I got to take care of them, and I got to take care of this, and I got to take care of that, and I got to take care of this, and I got to, oh, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to, and I help them come into their center and take care of what is number one, and come present with that and show up for themselves, at least for an hour, so that they can find their empowerment to actually go live this busy life, and to remind their systems that yes, we got a lot to do, but we have to be in
Yeah.
those moments. We do have to be in those moments. So in a massage, it's so much more than just an hour to treat yourself, as they say. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in general kind of what I do.
And
Yeah,
when we talk about massage, like I always tell people that a lot of people think massage therapy is just really just getting a massage.
yep,
When I tell people it's way more than just getting a massage, and all the importance of massaging and what it's doing for your lymphatic system, but what it's actually doing for our nervous system,
nervous system.
right?
Yes,
Because
yeah,
I think most people nowadays in North America is we're so out of touch with,
absolutely.
like,
Our body.
yeah, like, just even teaching Pilates classes, I use those classes to really help um, women, because mostly it's women that go,
Yep.
to really get in tune with how they're feeling,
Yes.
as opposed to looking at someone doing it and then doing it. Let's
Yeah.
feel what's going on in
Yes.
your body, because our bodies are always talking to us. Our bodies are
Absolutely.
always whispering to us, and our body speaks our mind. Our body speaks what's happening. It's
Absolutely.
always telling us things. And the
Absolutely.
same thing goes for, our bodies are going to be telling us what it needs and what it doesn't need. But if we're not listening,
Yeah.
then we don't know.
Absolutely. And I coach the way, like, we'll just speak of women. I coach these women, especially ones that have not had massage in their life as a practice. Like we go to yoga to practice. These are
Yeah.
words I'll say to these clients. Yoga is a practice, meditation is a practice, because you get better at it. And I
Yes.
say, when you come for your massages on a regular basis, it's so important to come for them regularly, because it's a practice and you get better at receiving the massage. And what you're doing is you're tapping into your body that has been talking to you for the last month, for the last 2 months. It's been telling you things, and it's showing. When we don't listen, a little nudge from from our shoulder, a little, hey, pay attention to me, turns into a headache, indigestion,
Yes.
ad infinitum, right? It turns into a physical manifestation when we're not listening, because the body it starts with little taps, and then it
Yeah.
has to scream at us like a
Mm.
child having a
Yes.
temper tantrum, and it says, pay effing attention to me. And so, yeah, when clients are having a massage, I'll guide them with my words and with breath work to help them get out of their heads
Mm.
and into our bodies, because we are in a society that has conditioned us to normalize
Yeah.
stress, and we are
Yeah.
actually so much more often in a fight or flight
Yeah.
state,
Yeah.
and we don't even know
Yeah.
it. And so no wonder people aren't healing. No wonder we're getting chronic issues. No wonder we're getting chronic
Yeah.
disease, because the body is not we are not enabling our body to do the second thing it does best, which is heal and regenerate.
Yes. And healing only happens when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system,
That's
which, like
it.
you said, most people are not. Because if you're going, your body, we need to relax. And even people go into sleep. Sleep is a big part of what um, I guess I coach on with women, because if we're not sleeping, we're not healing.
That's right.
But a lot of people are, because we're not taught how to listen to our body, and
That's
because we're
right.
not even just taught these simple practices that we can practice every day,
Yes.
then we have no clue. So let's just talk about, when we talk about the nervous system and simple, I'm all about keeping things
Same.
super simple,
Me
right?
too.
Because
Keep
otherwise
it
people don't do
simple.
it.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yep.
keep it
That's
super
right.
simple. The simplicity is everything. So let's talk about some simple ways that we can just ground the nervous system that you would recommend. I've got some myself, but what are some simple things that you've shared with clients to really help them in their day? So we're not saying to you listening,
Yep.
those of you listening, we're not saying that you're going through your day and you have to stop
No.
everything. These are
No.
things that you can incorporate in your day. And as you keep doing this and build them as a
Yeah.
habit, they will become normal parts of your day, and they'll just be automatic. Your
Absolutely.
neural pathways will just become, you'll just
Keep
know what to do.
stretching fast.
So
Yeah, because you start to
what's
stretch fast.
one thing that you recommend?
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I always do an intake, and I like to get a little gist, and my system has gotten good at attuning to little cues from a very quick 5 minute conversation. And I'll ask a client, like, tell me a little bit about your routine in the morning, because I want to give them stretches and breathing and movements that they can do while their coffee pot is boiling, while they're blow
Yeah,
drying their hair, you know? So, yeah, we want to be able to do these things in our lives because our lives are so busy. So, you know, so breathing. I mean, three
yeah,
deep breaths will change your nervous system just like that. It's very simple. Always back to the breath, and that's with clients too. I can see their breathing as soon, when they get on the table, watching these shallow breaths.
mm,
So we want to watch. We want to pay attention to where we're breathing
yeah,
into. Are we breathing into our throat? Are we breathing into our chest? Or are we breathing into our belly?
yes,
Your system is paying attention in through the nose, out through the mouth.
yeah,
Right there, your body says, "Oh, it's like your body's like kind of look at, if we're going to do a visual analogy, it's like looking up through your neck to say, what is she thinking about? What is she asking me to do? Because the body muscles, they're like puppies. It wants to listen to us, but it works tandem. So the body's going to send
mhm,
messages to our consciousness, and our consciousness can send messages to the body back and forth.
yeah,
So breathing from our belly, from our belly, through our nose, out our mouth, and making sure, if you can pay attention, and these are things you can do while you're waiting for the coffee to boil, or the kettle to boil. Um, Pay attention to how to the length of time you're breathing in through your nose, as opposed to the length of time you're breathing out through your mouth.
mhm,
And you want to make it a little bit longer coming out of your mouth, because that is a
yeah,
calming thing for your body. So you're breathing. That's a simple thing. And you can do that, anytime you get a second. And when you start to pay attention after, I always tell clients, just give me 7 days. Shake my hand and make me a promise that for 7 days, you're going to take 1 minute of your day and pay attention to your breath. After you do that for 7 days, you're going to feel more in tune with
yeah,
your body. You're going to feel, oh, I can access a sense of calm, and you're going to want to do it more.
yes, yes,
So I always say, just give me a promise that you'll do it for
yes,
7 days. So breath work, or I mean, I call it breath work, but it's only work because we're having to
yeah,
actively do it, like
yeah,
actively pay attention to it. So it's going to take a little
yeah,
work at first.
yeah,
There's actual breath works that we can talk about, but just doing some breath
yeah,
work. Um, Another thing is just taking, it only takes 30 seconds to stretch a muscle. So finding one part of your body throughout every day, just again, I'll say just commit for 7 days and stretch your neck for, if it's both sides, then it's 1 minute. Give yourself, promise me, just give me 1 minute at the end of your day, right before you hop into your bed. I know you're tired. It's been a long day. You've been taking care of the kids, taking care of the husband, taking care of the things at work. And then right before you go to bed, just shake my hand right now and promise me for 7 days, that 1 minute before you go to bed, that you'll just take 30 seconds on each side of your
yeah,
neck, to stretch your neck and count it out. And it's amazing when I'll do an actual stretch with a client in the room,
mhm,
because 30 seconds in this life, 30 seconds, when you're counting it out, you're like, oh God,
yeah,
16. You want to give up after 16 seconds. And it's like, are you kidding me? It's 30 seconds
yeah,
of your
yeah,
day. So yeah, so there's, so breathing, just pick up one stretch. I have lots of stretches on my YouTube. I keep my stretches very simple as well. They're not some elaborate thing. It's simple movements like
yeah,
touching your toes, but I talk you through it so that you can get a mind body
yeah,
connection and feel it. And feel it. I say to clients, you can't just look on a YouTube about a stretch. You have to, and say, oh, if I put my head to my shoulder, I'm stretching. You got to get in your
yeah,
body and feel
yes,
it. Find that muscle with your
yeah,
mind that is needing the attention, and that's the stretch you
yes.
facilitate,
And
So,
I would even add on actually to think about. So one of the things I teach my Pilates students is in Pilates, everything is about elongating. So
yeah,
yes, it's about the core, but it's about thinking of the spine going up and the
yeah,
tail going down. Or if it
yes,
is a neck stretch, you're thinking of in two different directions. So thinking, connecting that mind to the body,
yes,
because when we think about what we're doing, it becomes a
yes,
whole different thing. So thinking about when you're doing the stretch, whether it's a quad stretch, the next stretch, think about two opposing ends pulling apart, right? The shoulder going
Yes.
down and the ear going up
Yeah.
versus even down, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I would add into that is just think about going in opposite directions. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then just to, the power of three, I love giving things in threes, right?
Mhm.
And the third thing that is incorporated in all three, if you spend that 1 minute at the end of your day tapping in, start with your breath works or start with your breathing. Let's change the language there. So start with your breathing, then you go into your stretch. And what will happen as a byproduct is you've just done a 1 minute meditation because
Mm.
you're breathing, you're focusing on one meditation. What it means is to focus on one thing. Actually, we have
Yeah.
all these guided meditations in the world and stuff, but the word
Yeah.
meditation is to focus on one thing, whether it's your breath or a chant or
Yeah.
whatever. So as you're seeing that muscle, think of your hamstring, right? So you're seeing, if we were, bending
Yeah.
forward, see your hamstring in your mind, your knee to your butt, right? Lengthening, and you're, as you're breathing through it, and you're in a stretch. Boom, you've just done a 1 minute meditation. So mini meditations, breathing, stretching. If you can apply 1 minute to say 5 minutes is good. 10 minutes is really good. And 15 minutes of stretching before bed is amazing.
Hmm.
So that's,
Yeah.
all three, you're doing breathing, meditation, and a stretch for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes at the end of your day. You will
Yeah.
feel dramatically different. It's a 99% guarantee. I don't make many promises in life, but if you do that, you'll be like, wow, do I
Yeah.
feel better, because you're grounding yourself.
Yeah.
You're showing up for yourself. You're giving back to this body that you require from every single day. We require our body to take us to the
Yeah.
bathroom, to take us to work, take us to our Pilates class,
Yeah.
So we give back by just paying
Yes.
attention.
And then when you say pay attention, what another thing I think about is, you know, gratitude,
You got it.
gratitude for, even though we're someone might say, well, I'm not really where I want to be, right? Or, whatever is the negative,
Yeah.
right? Most people, our brains go to negative first. So
Yeah.
it is actually being grateful. You may not be where you want to be. Your body may not be in the health you want it to be. It never ends, so there's always
Yes.
another place that's
Yes.
better.
Yes.
But what about now, right?
That's right.
Because really, if you think about it, there's a lot of people nowadays that are not well and that
Yeah.
they're falling ill. And if we really think about it, like if you sit down and you really think about it, those listening by recording and on live, if you really think about it, you can be grateful that even if you're not in that best place, but what are you got up today, and maybe all you can do right now is go for a walk, which I would add that in, is going for a walk is very grounding
Oh,
and
yes.
very good for your nervous system and very great for your hormones, ladies, and men too. But being grateful,
Yes.
right? And one of the things I have clients do is the breathing also, but is wins. At the end of the day, writing out 3 wins. And it's so easy not to do. It's
Yeah.
easy to do, but it's also easy not to do because just like you said, you're tired and it's like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. But no, make yourself be determined, and it's a non-negotiable, because it may seem like all these simple little things may seem like they're just little things, and it's like, is it really going to make a difference? We already see that the science proves that it makes a difference.
Yeah.
We have to program our brains. So if we are writing those wins, we're training our brain to think about the good things that happen. Because if you don't, your brain is going to be thinking about all the things that didn't happen. So if you find that you fall into depression easily or anxiety, this is part of a lot of the work that I do with in my practice is belief work, and shifting our neural pathways so that we're focusing on the direction that we're going, because you and I both know, Lisa, that it's easier. Most people do what's
Yeah.
easiest, but if you look at the 1% of people in the world that are successful in whatever they're doing, it's whether it's health and business and all the things, they're doing usually what the 99% are not doing, and they're doing these small simple things every
Yeah.
day.
Yes.
Even though it feels like you don't see a change, maybe you're not feeling the way you think it's the gym.
Yeah.
In January's coming. Guess what we're going to see? The gym is going to be packed with
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
until February, right?
That's
Because
right.
and that's just human. So
Yeah.
those of you following us and those of you in my community, this is definitely not something that we ascribe to. We focus on being intentional about what we're doing, and we focus on, we're talking about the nervous system, but this is part of it. If we're constantly all over the place and not focusing on the wins and, not focusing on just simple breathing that doesn't cost you anything, going for walks that don't cost us
That's right.
anything, focusing on being around people like you and I have great conversations, being around people that light you up, that have your back, that are going to lift you up and not take you down. That
Yeah.
is that's really great for your nervous system. But if you're around
Absolutely.
people, for example, that are bringing you down and that don't support you, and you have a dream and they're just like, really, do you honestly believe it? That's why dreams are called dreams. Then those are not your people.
Yeah.
And we have to be very careful who we share things with. So yeah, so anyways, I could go on and
Yeah.
on, but
It's
um, I would
really,
I would say adding in things like walks, and as we're
yeah.
talking here, there's a lot of things that we could say, but I would say even those of you listening and listening by recording, because this will live here on Instagram forever, is so whenever you're listening to this, it could be next year on December, is it the 9th today? December 9th, 2025, if you're listening to this then, is there's one thing that you heard today that kind of you said, oh, I could do that, or I was doing that. You just choose the one thing. You just
Yeah.
choose the one thing and you start putting that into practice, because if you do too many things, your nervous system is going to just be, you know, just haywire.
Absolutely. Yes. And yeah, absolutely. I have to be in nature at least 4 times a week. I have a
Yeah,
dog, so I take my dog for a walk, but I make sure it's never just a walk. We go on an adventure and we go to the woods, and I have to do it 4 times a week, or else I can notice that my coping mechanisms are down,
mhm,
my thinking is down and or negative. The nature will take stuff from
yeah,
us. It will help us.
yes,
And to speak to the gratitude piece, that's one thing again with these simple little things, like 5 minutes of stretching, breathing, and showing up for your body, which will be a meditation in a way. After 7 days, you will start to see an improvement. This is a good thing too, because about this kind of these little things is it's not some diet where you got to wait 6 months before you see a result. If you stretch one part of your body that's bothering you for 7 days
yeah,
straight, on by day 6, by day 5, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can go a little bit further, or
yes,
I can go into that position with less tension.
yeah,
So you start to see your wins really quickly. We are a society who wants immediate gratification. These little things we're talking about right now, they will give us that
yeah,
hit of immediate gratification that we're so desiring. And then
yeah,
because we're tapping into the body, we are just energetically saying
yeah,
thank you, body. Thank you, body. And when we're saying thank you, and when we're going, wow, look what I can do, look what I can do, it's like maybe I can do something else. And this is a win now. This is
yeah,
a win. It's a little win, but little wins add up
yeah,
to big wins. It's about the little things in life. Like we think about any kind of a relationship, right?
yeah,
You want to say to your partner, it's not that big gesture. It's all those little things you
yeah,
do every day that
yeah,
really matter to
yes,
me, right? So the little things add up and they turn into something. I'm getting the analogy of like a cake. If we eat, it's a bad topic. It's a bad analogy for, in the being healthy eating, but a cake, when you eat it, you don't think like, oh, that one egg tastes really good. That one,
yeah,
it's the
yes,
thing, it's
yeah,
the final
yeah,
product, and these little
yeah,
things that we're adding, these little
yes,
ingredients, make a beautiful cake
yes.
of our experience of
So you know
life.
what? Actually, Lisa, it reminds me of the book. Oh my goodness, is it on my shelf? Oh, it's called The Slight Edge. The Slight
Okay.
Edge. So it is the small things, the small little things that you do every single day.
Yes.
Over time,
Yes.
they become something. So when we eat the hamburger, similar to the cake. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a shift, but in terms of eating something that's not so great, you do it one time, it's not so good. But when you do it over, it's the little things that you're doing over and over. And it's kind of a little bit different than what you were saying. But I think we understand what
It's
we're trying to
under the
say.
same umbrella.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
all the
That's right.
pieces together,
Yes.
and over
That's
time
right.
we see the results, and
Yes.
over time we start to notice like everything we're talking about here when we talk about perimenopausal women. I mean, if those of you listening are not sleeping well, what we're talking about is
Well,
crucial. It's,
yes,
and this is the thing is people go to supplements and all the things, and I'm not against supplements. I do believe we need less than what people are taking.
agreed,
But
agreed. Yep,
the thing is, let's stay basic. But the thing is that if we just I focus on primal eating patterns, like eating according to our primal type. Everyone's different. We don't all eat the same thing,
that's right.
right?
Yep,
And sleeping and lifestyle. So lifestyle and food, just those two things, it will change everything if you are practicing it. It will change
practicing.
everything for your sleep. It will change
Yes,
everything for your mood. It will change
yes,
everything for neurotransmitter. Like
yes,
all the things. It's just
yes,
so, and this is my whole practice really, and my whole message has been for years is just let's get back to the basics.
yes. Me
Get back to the
too.
basics, the foundations. I teach foundations in Pilates. I teach foundations in
Yes,
health stuff. Everything is about foundations
yes,
because even if you go to a naturopath or you go to whatever practitioner is doing all the testing and all the things, it's not bad. But if you do all that, but you're not doing the
yes.
foundations, you still got to do the foundations.
Right.
I
Or
mean,
else
you
the other
really should
stuff
be.
has nothing. Yes, the other stuff has nothing to stand on, right? A
Yeah.
foundation is it means that word. So if we're going to put other
Yes.
stuff, we need that solid foundation, and that
Yes.
happens from our core, from our
Yes.
consciousness, from our small little things that we do for ourselves in our day, and in our day, every day. We get one day. We get one day. We
Yeah.
get one day. Like bring that into spirituality and living in the present moment kind of stuff. We can't say. I'd say to clients, you can't. They come to me and they're like, "Well, I stretched my neck out in February. Why is it hurting in
Yeah.
November?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, because we go back to life. We go back to life when we keep gathering stressors, new
Yes.
experiences,
Yes.
new memories, new moments, new this, new this. So we're gatherings. That
Yes.
stuff needs a foundation to be piled up on so that we can
Yeah.
navigate in a healthier, more calm, more
Yeah.
self-loving way.
Yes. And I mean, if we talk about stresses, like I ask clients all the time, because I have a 5-step assessment, and one of the questions is your stress levels. And most people are like, oh, I'm pretty good. It's because they think, well, it's how I handle
Yes,
stress. But we adapt.
that's
And
it.
they'll say, oh, well, it's a six out
Normalized.
of 5 out of 10. It's really good. And they don't realize that when I look at the entire assessment, I was like, their gut is completely out of
Yep.
whack. That's
Yep.
a stress on the body. When your gut is off, it's a stress. What we're breathing from
Yes.
the sky is a stress. Our
Yes.
emotional stress, our mental stress,
Yes.
how we speak to ourselves, who we're hanging around. Like there's so many
All of it.
stressors. So
Yes.
that's not to overwhelm
No.
those are listening, but it's to say that
Awareness.
there's a lot of stressors that we have
Yes.
that are impacting us. And this is where, yes, awareness is key.
Yes.
So,
And
um,
when we're aware of it, then we can then acknowledge that we're under. Then we can acknowledge it. Oh, I was under stress today. So what can I do then to recalibrate? What can I
yeah,
do to give back
yes,
to my body and do these things that we were talking about? These simple things. Go for a 1 hour walk.
yes,
Take 5 minutes to breathe intentionally.
yeah,
5 minutes to stretch one, right?
yes,
And then we can do something. We're empowered then, and then we
yes,
can remember that we're the
yes,
medicine that can help this system.
yes. And one thing that just came to my spirit is ladies that are listening, if you skip meals, that is a major, major stress on your body. We need to be eating regularly.
Yes,
Things to watch out for. Well, if you're hungry, that's a stress on the body. If you're dehydrated, it's a stress on the body. If you're finding that your heart is racing, that's something to listen to,
yes,
right? If you're finding that you just like noticing like we talked about, noticing the breathing, like your breath is quick, and there's so many different you can Google it. You can go to Chat GPT and it will tell you what are the
yes,
symptoms of that I'm under stress,
yes.
because a lot of people don't realize. So Lisa, where is it that I'm going to obviously invite you as a collaborator, so this will go onto your feed. However, maybe just as we're on here, where can people find you? What is your Instagram handle at?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Lisa Tabando, Health and Wealth. Sorry, Health Wealth, not and Health
Yep,
Wealth.
health wealth. Yep.
So I believe that when we are wealthy, when we
Yep.
are healthy, when we are in control, when we are empowered
Yeah.
in our body and our medicine and ourselves, we are wealthy,
Yes.
because we can do anything,
Yep.
and then we can heal anything. And I mean, I say that gently, but so anyways, Lisa Tabando,
Yep.
Health Wealth is Instagram. I put all of my stretches, meditations, um, teachings about the body for free on my YouTube channel.
Awesome.
So that's Lisa Tabando, RMT. And I have a TikTok as well, Lisa
Awesome.
Tabando. That one I kind of have fun with, but I do put nuggets of gold,
Yeah,
I think, on there. And again, I keep it simple. And so, yeah, that's where you can find me. And then, yeah, I practice my massage therapy in my clinic here in Toronto, Etobicoke.
amazing. I love
Yeah,
it. Well, thank you for being on. We'll have to do this again
absolutely.
because this is it's always fun to
Yes,
collaborate and just chat with others that are like-minded. So
yes.
thank you for being here, and thank you everyone for listening. I see one eyeball up there, but I find a lot of people afterwards. Because this lives on Instagram, I find a lot of people check out the recordings because I always get messages afterwards. So
Amazing.
yes, it is. So
Thank
thank you,
you so
Lisa.
much.
Yes,
Thank you,
and
Kristen, so
yes,
much. So,
thank
so
you.
much.
Yes, you're so welcome. And thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.